Hey, and welcome back to NBA Got Game TV. Thanks for tuning in, guys. When we talk about the greatest rivalries in the game, we have to talk about the Detroit Pistons Chicago Bulls years. And of course, Michael Jordan and Isiah Thomas right in the middle. These two legends have a long history, and even until today, it is not clear what had happened and how the relationship became what it is. But in this video, we will try to put a little light into the dark and revisit some of the events that might explain why Michael Jordan and Isiah Thomas have this weird relationship. But before we start, if you like this video, please subscribe to our channel. We really appreciate it. Also, underneath the video, you will see the link to our Facebook page. There we have some exclusive videos. And without any more blah blah, let's go. Before we can start on how the relationship with Thomas and Jordan started, we have to take a look back where Thomas came from. Isiah Thomas was born on April 30th, 1961, Chicago, Illinois, the youngest of 9 children. In the neighborhood where Thomas came from, drugs and crime was all over. The only escape Isiah had was basketball. Seeing how some of his older brothers struggled in life, Isiah was determined to make it big in basketball. Each morning in high school, he rose at 5 a.m. in the morning for the 90-minute commute to play high school basketball at the private St. Joseph High School in Illinois. During his junior year, he led St. Joseph to the state finals and was considered one of the top college prospects in the country. On the high school and streetball floor, Thomas already was a legend in Chicago before he even made one single game in the NBA. When he was drafted by the Detroit Pistons a couple years later, Thomas was still popular in Chicago and was seen as the son of the Windy City. But when Jordan arrived in 1984 in Chicago, suddenly nobody was talking about Thomas.
Isiah's feelings toward a rookie named Jordan were questioned after the 1985 All-Star game. He was accused of leading a freeze-out of Jordan, who shot 2 for 9.
When Michael Jordan came to All-Star Weekend that week, he had a lot of jewelry on. He had his Nike paraphernalia on. There was a feeling, I think, among some that Michael was trying to be bigger than the other players there.
And Magic played the pass to Michael Jordan, and Isiah Thomas took it himself.
If there's one thing that I'm not good at is playing politics and being political. Every time that he's talked about it and that I've talked about it, we both said that there was nothing to it.
Isiah was almost a legendary figure in Chicago. There was some resentments on Thomas's part because here was this guy stepping into his town. Here's this guy coming in, stealing my city.
Until today, there is no proof that Isiah Thomas really did organize a freeze-out. After reviewing the game, it is also hard to see anything that would prove these claims. It just looks like a normal game.
What a play. Roll side, George. 9-8, the East is leading. Kareem is double-teamed, try to get it inside, and here's Michael Jordan. And here comes Isiah Thomas with Irving on the wing. Jordan filling the lane. Blocked, and they call the foul. He's the oldest starting guard in the league at 34, the Iceman. Bird, he's got that drop step. A little problem getting it in. Bounce pass. What a pass from Kareem in a crowd. Loses the ball to Michael Jordan. The West trying to break the 5-game losing streak. Jordan is fouled by Gervin before the shot. No basket. West by 7. Jordan is hit. He tried to penetrate against the likes of Olajuwon and will go to the line. Michael Jordan with 4 seconds to go. Thomas going for 3 points. Hits it.
They are really moving. Jordan trying to put his one-on-one move, draws attention from Magic. It gets way outside to Isiah, who positioned himself up for that 3-pointer.
In 1988, Michael Jordan and Isiah Thomas participated in a charity 3-on-3 tournament together. Jordan was the captain of the red team, and Thomas was the captain of the blue team. Larry Bird and Dominique Wilkins also had their teams. But obviously, Jordan and Thomas didn't mind participating in the same event. But that was before they had the playoff wars and the Jordan rules.
Interpretation of the Jordan rules are this: there are 3 areas on the floor the Pistons need to be concerned about. He's sensational when he dribbles to his right. He's only great when he goes left. They will force him left as much as possible from the top of the circle area.
I was covering the team at the time. My eyes were telling me some Jordan rules going on here. So let me go write a story about this. Now I always get this. What are you talking about? There's no Jordan rules. We're just playing tough, physical, like anybody else.
When Michael Jordan has the ball on the foul line extended or wing area, he is so good, too good, at going baseline, coming back up under the basket, getting fouls on the big people. So instead, the Pistons will force him to come to the middle of the floor off the dribble, trying to get help from the next defender.
You'd say, what about the Jordan rules? And they say, what Jordan rules? And they'd say, what about this defense you're playing on? We're not playing anything special. And they all laughed and they'd wink and then they'd move on.
They also need to be concerned about pick and rolls. They'll trap everyone, and while Michael's doing his thing, just kind of creating, they'll run the next guy at him to double team him no matter who it is. But keep this in mind, Mark, they don't always use the Jordan rule.
Isolation play for Jordan. And Isiah Thomas ties him up.
The so-called Jordan rules were Isiah Thomas's idea. In preparing for the playoffs against the Bulls, Thomas was up all night trying to figure out how to stop Jordan. He finally came up with a plan and called Joe Dumars and told him what to do. This was later called the Jordan rules.
Tension between Thomas and Jordan increased as the Bulls lost 3 straight playoffs to the Bad Boys from 1988 to 1990.
Jordan comes in and he wants to win championships, but he can't. Who's standing in the way? Isiah Thomas. And then they devised the Jordan rules, and it got ugly.
Michael on the move to the hoop. He is necktied. Oh. Michael Jordan goes down hard, and he comes up ready to swing.
And Jordan found himself on the floor. Jordan was hurt, and Isiah was the one standing above him.
In 1991, when the Bulls were about to dispose of Detroit in the playoffs, Thomas organized a walkout.
They were insulted a way that they had been treated by Chicago's players. Some of the things had been said. So I went to Isiah, as I recall, and said, don't do this, you'll regret it.
Pistons wasting no time in getting out of here. They left the bench, although there's 7 and 9, 10 seconds remaining. The Pistons just left.
Anybody that didn't shake their hands, whether it be Isiah or whoever else on the team, it's a personal decision for them. We're all men. You have to make decisions. You have to live with them.
This decision was heavily criticized among the NBA. And the timing for Isiah couldn't have been worse.
4 months later, when the selections for the U.S. Olympic Dream Team were announced, Thomas was not among them. Feeling he was the victim of a freeze-out, the 9-time All-Star claimed foul play.
There's been much speculation about who will play and who won't, and there's some controversy attached to it as well.
The rules always changed for me. They wanted people who had won championships. At that time, there was only 2 people on that team who had won more championships than myself. I've been around sports long enough to know that there's a committee that selects, and then there's another group of people in the back room that selects.
Jordan played a big role in keeping Isiah off that team. Michael never specifically said, I don't want Isiah Thomas on the team. He was shown a list of who was on the team, and when Isiah Thomas's name initially was